Hello everyone, Marty Richards with Richland Center Tourism here again today with our Why Do We Call It That episode. Today's episode really has a very deep meaning in way back in the history, actually dating back to when the woodland people used to live in our area. So we're talking somewhere around 700 or 600 AD to about 1200 AD. So quite a ways back. So very much some of the earliest history we've ever talked about. And today here I am on Frank's Hill, or I'm at Frank's Hill. Now, I have to be honest, born and raised in the area, have been around all my life and frequented this area. I did not know Frank's Hill or the significance of this property until only just a couple years ago, and I find that that's somewhat typical for a lot of the residents in our area. So not only is this a little bit of an education in history for folks from the area, but also those of you who are potential guests to come visit and enjoy the serenity and the meaning of Frank's Hill. So we have to kind of step back a little bit, as I'd mentioned quite a ways back, to when the woodland people lived in this area, native to this area Americans that hunted, gathered, and lived along the shores of the Wisconsin River here. What happened during their time was that they started the practice of burying their dead in what we would call mounds, so effigy mounds. Some of those mounds were, cone-shaped, some were just long linear mounds, but the woodland people that lived in this area and in some other areas of Wisconsin started to also make shapes, so shapes of animals or even of people. So here at Frank's Hill is thought of as one of the best preserved effigy mound areas in Wisconsin. There are some in Iowa as well that are very significant. So these were common to find in the Midwest, but many of them are gone. So many of the original effigy mounds are actually gone because there wasn't an understanding early on of how significant these lands were. Well, the woodland people began to bury their dead in effigy mounds. And they know from past excavations in other areas that when they did dig into mounds, that they would find human remains, bones. They would also in some cases find belongings, charcoal, other deposits that were significant for the ceremonies at that time. Well, here at Frank's Hill, there's actually two separate locations. They are both separated by State Highway 193. Now, if you're wondering where that's at, it's a very short state highway section. You might remember we did an episode about Balmoral, just a little village that was platted, started to grow, and then basically kind of disappeared, although there are still a few houses there. We are just up the road from that, almost at the intersection with State Highway 60. So we're right on State Highway 193. There is a little bit of a parking area where you can park, you can come up. You are encouraged to come visit, because one of the things Frank Shadowall believed, immediately upon him seeing this land, he understood the importance of the mounds and of this property, and he preserved it for all people to see. Unfortunately, Frank had an untimely death in 2013. However, he did then bequeath the land to an organization called the Three Eagles Foundation. If you'd like to get more information about this land, you can go out to threeeagles.org, or you can even connect to threeeagles.org through Richland Center Tourism. As you venture up the hill, and visitors are welcome. That was one of Frank's reasons for preserving this land, was to preserve it for those of all faiths and all beliefs to enjoy the land and to understand the meaning behind that. We do ask that you do that with respect. We would ask no walking on the mounds. Remember, we wouldn't walk on one of our relatives or predecessors' graves. These are very much the same situation, so we ask that you would treat the visit here with respect. If you get up on the hill behind where I'm standing, you will notice that there are several figures, actually noticeable figures. Now, a little hard to see when you're on the ground looking at them, but if you can see an aerial photo, if you go to the website I mentioned, you'll see there's an eagle, it looks like a bear or bison, and then also possibly, a lot of folks say, they do believe, experts believe, it is a corn woman. You can see the figure of a woman holding corn in one of the figures here. So those are significant because of the animal or people mounds. Now, just across the road on 193 is also another set of effigy mounds, and those are actually cone shaped. And what's significant, those are significant to the calendar. So a suggestion that I would make, if you're ever interested in making that trip, to come during a solstice. Because conical mounds, and the mound specifically here at Franks Hill that's across the road, are significant to the calendar of the year. And it's believed that the woodland people used the conical mounds to make sure that they were far enough ahead in harvest and to understand where they were at in the calendar of the year and their given time. So a lot of times you'll see during different solstice events, there will be quite a few people here visiting and enjoying watching sunset or sunrise as the part of that time might be, and how those mounds line up and signify what time of year that it actually is. So really interesting stuff. Again, we call it Franks Hill because of Frank Shadowall, who saw the value and preserved the land and did bequeath it to the Three Eagles Foundation. Again, I encourage you to go on out to threeeagles.org to learn more about that. And it does significantly talk about the two different hills and also gives you a good location of where it's at. And again, we really do encourage folks, come visit, check out the area. It's really a beautiful site. The sunsets here are amazing, but also significant to understanding how their calendar worked at that time as well. So you get to enjoy the beauty of the area, but also the significance of the history and how the folks who originally settled or originally lived in this area way back, in 700 to 1200 AD really lived and functioned. So for Richland Center Tourism, I'm Marty Richards. I hope you enjoyed today's Why Do We Call It Franks Hill. Have a great day.